What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree, and in this video specifically, we're going to go ahead and break down all of the extreme characters. You see them on the second row, all 6 that are currently in the game right now. We're going to break them down and see which ones are better than others, basically. But full disclosure, I've said this from day one, but basically every character in this game is good to some extent. To varying degrees, some are better than others, but they're all pretty much good in the game. So let's go ahead and break it down. Hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new. Let's hit a like goal of 1,000 likes on this video for these types of videos. If you want me to do more, let me know in the comments. I think next I'll do Sparking, and I might come back to Hero. Hero is good. It's just Hero is very expansive already. There's a lot of characters in there, so I might not be able to handle it the same way I handle this video. But again, it's kind of subjective based on the team that they are on. Now, before we begin, I want to say that we are also on legends.dbz.space. This is just like DBZ.space, manufactured by Renzi as well. DBZ.space, the person. You know, the one that went ahead and produced the website for Dokkan Global and JP. So this is a database website that has all the information, story stages, the amount of experience you get, etc., character experience levels, just individual character stuff. So make sure that you do check out legends.dbz.space for this information. So last little bit before we jump in, my general order, and again, subjective, depends on your own individual team and things like that, which are all things that I'll break down in just a moment. Honestly, I'd say the Goku is the best character. Right here, this Goku, the Extreme Goku, I'd say he's the best Extreme character in the game. I think he has a lot of intangibles, which we will talk about in a moment. Next on my list is actually a tie, 2A and 2B. I had 2A as Radit and 2B as Nappa. And the reason why Nappa was 2B is because of his different type of ability. Raditz is more splashable on different types of teams than Nappa seems to be, in my opinion. Next, I had Tau, and then finally Chiao. They're all good, but well, again, we're going to talk about them there. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump in. Our first character is Goku. Goku is a melee type character. Melee? I don't know. Melee. Anyways, physical strike arts type character. He excels at those types of things, and we're going to go ahead and break him down. Best teammates for Goku are any character that has the character tag Saiyan. So when you go to your character, scroll down, it says character tag Saiyan. Anybody that has that, Goku excels on a team with them. Ideally, a Saiyan team right now is basically the meta of the game. Saiyan team plus maybe Piccolo. That's basically the meta of the game right now as the time of recording, so keep that in mind. Goku actually has the highest strike attack stat among all of the extreme characters we're going to go ahead and take a look at. And these max stats right here, 215,000 is pretty massive. I didn't get a concrete answer from Renzi at the time of the recording. I'm assuming that the max value, and I'm going to treat it as such, are the numbers when the character is fully limit broken and probably as well fully opened up in all of the different trees for soul boost, like all those different little nodes for soul boost classes and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that's what it is, but I'm gonna operate on the character's overall max potential, and this is what it seems to be. Again, highest attack stat at 215,000 among all the extreme characters currently in the game. Also, if you take a look at this man's abilities and skills, they all revolve around increasing strike attack or increasing strike damage inflicted. So starting off with his main ability, causes enemy to receive 35% more strike damage for 20 timer counts. And it actually activates pretty soon, I would say. 10 timer counts is relatively fast in comparison to other main abilities in the game. So that one pops off really fast. His Z ability, which is the most important among all the abilities in the game, I would say, 27% to character tag Saiyan. So again, anybody with the tag Saiyan gains 27% maximum at the highest Z level ability. I think it's level 5 or something like that. Now, this number changes 17, 20, 22, 25, depending on the level of your character. So keep that in mind. But overall, they're getting an attack increase to all your other Saiyans on your team. So I'm talking about your Super Saiyan Goku. He gets stronger simply by being on the team with this guy. Your Shallot, if you love Shallot, he gets a lot stronger simply by being on the team with this guy. So that is an incredible Z ability. And again, it's very splashable. Raditz has a similar one. Can be on a very, very wide array of characters' teams. So otherwise, unique ability, Rage, Strike Attack Plus. So plus 10% to strike damage inflicted. Kamehameha also increases his ability to do strike damage by 10% for 15 timer counts, basically seconds, but it is what it is. Finally, he has a pose, plus 10% to strike damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. So again, plus 10 here. And yes, all these abilities stack. Plus 10 here, plus 10 here. He increases his own attack alongside other characters with this, and not to mention any other Z abilities currently on the team active. You know, plus 35% strike damage that the opponent receives right here with Battle Instinct's main ability. So that's what this guy really excels at. He's very, very good. And also, you're going to kind of notice a theme with these. I'm going to be kind of nitpicking a little bit when it comes to cons, just because they really don't have a lot of bad things about them that I could discern. Like, for instance, Goku has one of the higher critical rates in the game. His critical numbers, as far as extremes go, I think his is about middle of the road, but, you know, he's got a pretty good critical stat. It's actually higher than all the current sparking characters in the game, I believe. Like, all their critical rates, it's a bit lower. Of course, they have higher overall stats. I mean, 180, 226. He's a ranged character, but, like, in comparison, you see how things kind of look out. They have different stat distributions, but nonetheless, very, very good critical. But for Goku, I would say the only real con I think he has is just having a low-key restore speed. This isn't even bad. 1662 isn't bad. It's just kind of below average. Now, what this is how fast your ki recovers when you are using that character. Now, the reason why that's important, and in fact, it's one of the more important stats in the game, is because it dictates how fast you can use your arts cards. And somebody else might start spamming you, and you're just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally you can, or you're charging or whatever, but that dictates that. And that's Goku has kind of, you know, not the best one. I think he has actually the second worst ki restore speed among all the current extreme characters in the game. But again, kind of nitpicky just because he's such a good offensive force. So keep that in mind. That's why he said he's really probably the best character. Highest strike attack stat among all these guys we're going to look at. So Tien is actually the exact opposite of Goku, and it's funny because he trades in the offense for being more of a defensive unit that has really good ki restore speed. I mean, this is like, what? I'm going to just throw out as a random number, around 800. So it's significantly faster, 24 versus 16, so something like that. But either way, significantly better ki restore speed. But you see the attack stat trades off, 16 and 15, where Goku, this stat is wasted on Goku. He doesn't really utilize blast attack, but otherwise, well, he can. I mean, he has the arts cards, technically, but you get my point. 215 right there, so vast difference. Again, so that's how this character shakes down, with one of the worst critical hits among all these characters here. So Tien is pretty cool, though, otherwise. I actually really enjoy him. He, again, defensive unit that has high ki restore speeds. His best teammate is Chiao. Remember I said Goku's best teammates was anybody with Saiyans. Tien is a bit more specific, simply because he relies on Chiao to get his plus 25% to strike damage inflicted when allied character Chiao is defeated. So either you took a Chiao with you and he got defeated in battle, or he self-destructed. You know, that's something that Chiao excels at, and, you know, either way, this Tien is able to increase his output by that. But you'll notice when you're using the Tien, again, he has output capability. He's just not great offensively. That's not his role in these games. In this character, these characters have different roles. His role is to be more of a sponge. You know, you'll notice, though, that he is very, I would say, underwhelming offensively, unless you're able to bring a Chiao on the team with him, or you do use his unlock key ability, plus 15% to strike, and blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. That totally is going to help him. Of course, if you pop his special Tri-Beam, he's going to do a lot of damage with that too. But otherwise, just naturally, he's not going to be that great offensively. Going to be about average or a little bit below average. But again, ability to sponge is great for this character. Plus whatever percentage based on the Z ability level, which changes depending on the limit breaks your character has for his Z ability, plus 20%, I would just say, starting here, yellow base strike defense. That does impact him and every other yellow character in your team. So they all get the ability to be better tanks, basically. So that's a little bit, something that you got to pay attention to, is this percentage increase. It doesn't necessarily, I don't know if this takes this into consideration, right? If this number here is already taken into consideration his Z ability, I don't think it would. But keep that in mind. Also, he's able to tank Kamehamehas and Super Kamehamehas by 50%. So if somebody's about to use a Kamehameha and you pull a quick one and switch right into Tien, and you are going to be set. You're not taking any damage from that. So that's about it. You know, Tien, and also I want to talk about this. Observant Third Eye, plus 35% to key restore speed for 17 counts. And you have to wait 15 counts to get it. 15 is, I think, is about average, but he's able to restore his key speed significantly faster than Goku specifically, but he's one of the better ones. So keep that in mind. He's very, very good for, like I was talking about, the ability to spam those attacks, right? So that's how Tien shakes out. We're going to move over to Chiao. I'm doing them in order. I guess I should have done them in order that I said they were, but it's fine. So Chiao honestly doesn't really have a lot of things going for him. His best teammate is Tien. He's a jack of all trades, master of none except self-destruction. That's what I had written down in my notes for this character. But yeah, that's really what he's good at. I mean, look at his stats. They're 107,000. I want to say 10, but 136, excuse me. 110, 117. Like, they're not great numbers. I mean, key restore speed, that's a good number. They're not great numbers. 180, well, no, 1,827,000, excuse me, to health. Like, these are good numbers, right? I mean, decent numbers. Not great. Not really excelling at anything as you take a look at it. I mean, where's the HP at? It's higher than Tien's, higher than Goku's. I guess, does he have the highest HP stat? Something like that. He does have the highest HP. Yeah. Okay. So, well, there's the good news about Chiao. I figured that he probably had one thing he was good at, but I didn't really consider HP. So, in my argument for Chiao, he is the best at something, it looks like, unless I quickly overlook something. But anyways, team ability, his best teammate is Tien, like I said, but otherwise he wants to be on a team with other characters that self-destruct, whether that's other Chiao-Tus, excuse me, or the Cybermen. I assume the Cybermen can do it as well. He is able to increase the damage inflicted by that. So keep that in mind. If you're somebody that really enjoys the meta of self-destruct and Tien and Chiao-Tzu, then sure. But this is really cool in combination with the other Tien, because again, it gets rid of your Chiao-Tzu, and then Tien gets that attack increase. So that's how things work out for their tandem there. It sucks that Chiao-Tzu has to take the the worst end of the stick, but it is what it is. Also, when Tien is his character is a character battle member, so a teammate, plus 50%. And of course, it says battle member because that means you have to take Tien into battle. You can't just have Tien on your team and not take him. Whereas Z abilities, they can be on your team and you don't take them. Fine. The other three characters that you don't actually take into battle, they still get their Z ability effect applied to the actual ones you take into battle. Don't believe me, it's in the game's help section. Otherwise, for this, it says is a battle member, meaning that you have to take Tien as one of your three characters into the fight. But he 50% increase, so that, and then like, plus 10% from the Dodon Ray, pop Dodon Ray, use his extra ability here, unlock key, plus 15% to self-destruct, and all of a sudden, his ultimate special will just probably one-shot just about anybody. With all those conditions met, it's probably going to one-shot just about anybody. Unless you're vastly underleveled, I guess. But the only issue with that, the only issue that this character has, aside from, again, minimal stats, not very good stats, is that he has to last quite a bit of time. 20 timer counts is quite a bit of time to get the self-destruct card. He has to wait that long to get his main ability that gives him the Awakened Arts card. So that's the main issue with him versus, like, the normal stuff. So, and he also, again, doesn't output that much, doesn't tank crazy well. He has pretty good defenses, I would say. Doesn't output that much otherwise unless he's able to self-destruct. Dodon Ray's not going to do a whole lot of damage. So moving on to Nappa. So Nappa's pretty cool, actually. He's one of the better characters, as I said earlier. He's basically Goku, but with better restore speed, but also has less strike damage potential, but more blast attack. So, he's able to kind of do a bit more damage with blast abilities. Like I said, Goku's is kind of not really necessary. I believe it's 100. It's 108 versus Goku's. Actually, never mind. Never mind. But maybe he has more blast attack potential with some of the abilities. I think that's what I wrote down, actually. Outrageous health, plus 35% to key restore speed for 17 timer counts. Like I said, he's Goku, but with better, because he's also a melee type as well. And starts off at basically 2k key restore speed, plus 35% on top of that. Also, he's pretty cool because he's anti-yellow. So this is a different type of ability that I think he's unique as among the extreme characters right now with this type of ability. 18% to damage inflicted to element yellow. And this is Pycon's worst nightmare because not only does this impact Nappa himself, who already has an advantage on the color wheel by being a red character versus yellow, but your characters like Vegeta, who would be at a disadvantage, the purple Vegeta, be at a disadvantage. But he's able to kind of combat that disadvantage because he's already doing increased damage thanks to Nappa's Z ability. So this is actually really good. It's anti-yellow. Anytime you see a Pycon, even if you don't include this character, Pycon's going to just get destroyed, in a lot of cases. So That's a great ability. Best teammate for this guy, by the way, is Vegeta, just for this ability right here. Plus 20% to strike damage inflicted when Vegeta is a battle member. So keep that in mind. That's great for him. Anti-self-destruct, he sponges the self-destruct abilities. He doesn't take very much from that. 50% reduced, just like Tien and the Kamehameha thing. Giant Storm has a really, really good range on it, but it seems like it misses more often than it should. But anyways, it has a very good range. Major explode damage causes enemy to receive plus 10% more self-destruct damage. So you can actually use Nappa as a teammate for a character like Tien and Chiao. Pop that off, and then, you know, sub into Chiao, and he'll do a bit more damage. So that's great. Anyways, unlock key form of attack, plus 15% to damage inflicted. So damage inflicted is general in that it actually should encompass strike and blast damage. So that's what I meant when I said he has more blast potential, I guess, than Goku. Unless Goku had something like that I overlooked, which is possible. But nonetheless, that's how things should work out. Anyways, we have Tau Pai. Yeah, Mercenary Tau. So, Mercenary Tau isn't super great. By the way, I didn't go over the con for Nappa. It's just he has really bad strike defense. 83k is, I think, the lowest strike defense among all these characters. 191 there, 83. I'm pretty sure it's about the lowest, if not almost the lowest. Yep, lowest strike defense. So, yeah, that's his only con. They don't really have a lot of cons. I mean, they just kind of are what they are. Both of the purple units, by the way, are support types. Support types are characters that don't really excel at anything. They're mainly good for their abilities such as key restoring and debuffing the opponent or buffing your team in a specific way. And speaking of buffing, this guy is a buff bot for criticals. He is incredible. He's crit city. All he does is crits, right? At least he tries to. And I believe crits are times 1.25 to the damage modifier. So just 0.25 more. So it helps. It's nice for doing more damage. But otherwise, if we take a look at his abilities here, Assassin's Virtuosity, I don't know, plus 20% to own critical rate for 30 timer counts, and he gets that after 10. So very, very good turnaround for that. Purple characters get, well, you know, varying amounts, but up to 26% to their critical rate during battle. So again, Purple Vegeta really likes this guy. Purple Vegeta, in tandem with Nappa and Tau, he might be able to run over some yellow characters, man. He might start doing some real good damage. And then maybe on team with some more Saiyan characters. But nonetheless, purple characters. And this will be really good in the future. So if you have Tau, totally build him up. In the future, purple will be busted. Just because of abilities like this. Also, plus 20% to own critical rate when 2 allies are downed with his unique ability. I guess. I mean, if he's your last resort, you pop him out there. Your other guys are gone. Tau's going to hit pretty hard with critical rates. Critical hits, excuse me. Plus 10% to own critical damage inflicted by for 15 timer counts with the Dodon Ray. And then again, 15% to own critical damage. So that's all he really does. No other notable things about him, really, in my opinion. I just think that he's really, really good. And unless he's doing a critical attack, he's not really doing much else for you. His stats are not great, you know, 134. I keep wanting to say like double digits, but 134 attack, you know, 123. Yeah, it's about average. So for the last character, we have Radit. So Radit is a ranged unit that tries to spam blast attacks, but sort of fails in some regards. He's really good at it, but he fails in some regards. I will say that. Blast attack, I believe, is the highest among all these characters at 186k. Strike attack is actually pretty good as well. I didn't even realize that. He has 174,000 strike attack, so he's really, really good. However, pitiful stat. That's disgustingly low. For all these characters, I think it's the lowest by a long shot. Like, that's disgustingly low. Yep, it is. Well, actually, Tien's is... No, that's not Tien's. Tien's is 20. I was going to say, Tien's is actually not that low. Yeah, it's the lowest by a long shot. Goku's was the lowest, but he's way lower. So here's the deal. Like I said, his main ability, -5 to own Blast Arts card. Blast Arts cost, excuse me, for 15 seconds basically, and it costs 10 seconds to be able to use it. So that reduces the cost of that Blast card from 30 to 25. That helps. It allows him to spam a little bit easier, but where they really cuck this unit is by giving him a low key restore speed. So he's not going to regen that key as fast. So it kind of is a trade-off, really. So I don't know. I'll have to test it out a little bit more, but on a team with a character like Pan or other characters that increase key restore speed, maybe that helps. But to begin, that's how things work out for him. But again, it's a trade-off. If you're starting off at max key, that's not that big of a deal. But you'll also be able to pop him a little bit faster if you, I guess, wait a little bit till you have the timer counts, you know, elapsed. And then, like I said, best team for him is Saiyan for the same reason as Goku initially. Varying amounts, but up to 18% to the Saiyan character tag max base HP. So that helps him and every other Saiyan, Shallots, your Gokus, whatever, everybody else, Vegeta, all of them. Anti-Super Warrior. So any character with the tag Super Warrior, which is like all the Z Fighters. So Super Warrior, this character has it. Tien has it. Basically those types of characters, he goes ahead and does inflicted plus 15% blast damage. So an additional 15% to blast damage against that type of matchup. So if you go up against somebody using the Tien and Chiao team, this guy's your best friend. He's going to destroy them. So that's basically how things work out. Double Sunday, major impact damage plus 10% to own Blast Art's power. So everything he does, and at the bottom, form of attack, plus 15 to damage inflicted. That's where the strike cards get a little bit more powerful, just like with, I believe, Nappa. You know, he has that same ability. So that's where this character really excels at the ranged type of attacks. Same as Vegeta and Goku Super Saiyan. They excel at ranged attacks. And to varying degrees, they all do it a little bit better than each other. This one's a bit better at having reduced costs. Some of them have better key restore speeds, etc., etc. But to recap, in fact, let me go ahead and take a look at... Yeah, Goku doesn't have just a general damage one. His is all strike. So, yeah, like I said, to recap, my overall best character was this Goku. I just thought that he had too many intangibles. He's too good at too many things to not be the best. And I think he had the least amount of cons. Like, he was probably the most nitpicky when it came to cons, really, in my whole list, I think. And the next was Raditz for me. I just felt like the ability to have a ranged type character is very, very good in this game. The key arts cards just seem a lot better, in my opinion, than the strike cards to me. So that's how things break down. And then Nappa, then Tien, then Chiao. Well, Tien, then Tau, then Chiao. Also, it's, again, like I said earlier, a bit subjective based on the team that you are deciding to run these characters on, because maybe in a certain setup, this certain character is better than a certain character otherwise. So that's how things break down. Hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Again, we use legend.dbz.space, legends.dbz.space for this video. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys in the next Dragon Ball Legends video.